Hello there, dear friends, my dear viewers. In the past few weeks, we went through an entire gamut of ways in which the ego tries to justify its inability to strike the balance between the id and the superego. At the end of it, you might feel that ego is something that has got only negative qualities. But no. Look at the positive part of ego. It is a seat of confidence, conviction, and determination. These are the components of the spirit of the ego. These are the positive qualities of the ego, and all ego management principles involve working upon these positive qualities. Seeing that the spirit of this ego is flared up and the ego becomes strong. Can you imagine a man without an ego? Absolutely impossible. Because such a person would be a tough nut to crack. Absolutely impossible to motivate because there is no substance, there is no core on which working can be done. Coming back to strengthening the ego should be compared to the nucleus of an atom. If you see, the atom has a certain space and the nucleus occupies just a minuscule space. You can compare it with a big cricket field which is like the atom, and a cricket ball is quite akin to the nucleus. So that is the space occupied by a nucleus in an entire atom. But the irony is that the entire mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. And hence, the ego should be quite like this. Dense, firm, massy, but definitely not bloated. And all ego management principles work upon strengthening of this ego. But before we move into ego management principles, we need to see how we can manage our own ego. We went through an entire range of positive ways, proactive ways in which the ego does this balancing act between superego and the id. Sublimation, catharsis, and to some extent even substitution are such positive methods. You see that in these methods, we saw that in these methods, the ego either diverts you away from a pain and anxiety causing thought, feeling or motive to something which is much more pleasant simply because it makes you feel you have achieved something, or it substitutes it with a motive which is closely related but which is again very, very pleasant. So these motives could be the higher forms of art, pursuit of music, pursuit of dance, pursuit of painting, sculpture, even reading and writing are sublimational processes in which you can see that you become much more refined, and those tiny, rather vacuous spaces which are in your ego just melt down and you become much more sublime. Simpler still, even a hearty laughter or physical exertion, vigorous physical exertion by way of sport are other cathartic measures by which you can seriously see that your ego becomes strengthened. And as we practice these long-term ego management principles on ourselves, we become much more confident about ourselves, and we are able to see how we can conduct ourselves, how we can see that a bloated ego is much different from a strong ego. So tomorrow, a day after today, we'll be talking much more about how these principles can help us manage the ego of the people around us to get positive results. Keep watching. Do keep seeing this channel, Ananth Anand. Come back to me tomorrow.